Hey, how's it going everybody? Welcome to Freebeat, where I post new music-related content every single day, so if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, let's get started. So today we've got the PO-24 Office. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know that this is my favorite pocket operator, but it's probably the most underrated alongside the Speak, as we discussed the other day. That's because it's pretty quirky. It's just samples of 80s office equipment with a few synthesizer sounds. However, a lot of people don't realize that the few synthesizer sounds on the PO-24 actually give it an advantage that no other pocket operator currently has. And that is that using knob A on the synth sound, such as this bass or this lead, you can actually access all 12 notes of the Western music scale, meaning that you can play in any key and any scale that you would like without having to transpose between patterns or anything like that. Now, the downside of this is that the notes aren't really labeled. It's a value of 0 to 100. However, for this lead and this bass, I've got you guys covered. I've taken the time to figure out which knob A value represents which note, and I've laid that out for you. We're going to go over it in just a second, but first I need to shout out one of my patrons. Today's patron shout out goes to Robbie Ferrero. Robbie, thank you so much for your continued support of the channel. It means the world to me. Thank you again. If you'd like to become a patron, just simply head over to patreon.com/freebeat. All right, let's get going. So first off, if you look in the description of this video, you will find all of the listed notes for sound 10, which is this lead, and sound 14, which is this bass. There's a few other pitched sounds on here, such as number 5, but I was having a hard time getting them to completely line up with proper notes. So if you'd like to go in and try to explore that a little more, feel free. But I was just having a hard time getting them to line up perfectly, which, by the way, on sound 14 and sound 10, there are a few notes that don't match up completely perfectly, but in my opinion, that kind of goes alongside the theme of The Office, and it just sounds a little bit off sometimes, a little different. It's definitely the odd man out when it comes to all 9, 11, 13 pocket operators now, I guess. 13, I think. 12? I don't know. There's there's a lot. But yeah, definitely the odd man out. But that definitely suits it, that some of these sounds are just a little out of tune. But with the values that I've listed in the description, you can actually write melodies with this. And that is actually what I did all the way back in May when I released my first ever EP, which was written entirely on The Office. I called it An American Workplace, a tribute to the wonderful TV show The Office. And yeah, you can check that out. I'll also link that down below. But I thought it would be fun today to kind of demonstrate how to do some melodies on the PO-24 by recreating one of the songs off my OPZ album, at least the main riff, Ghost in the Galaxy, using the pocket operator. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but honestly, that's how I feel going into any video on this channel. So let's go ahead and get started. So I think the tempo is around 120, so we're going to go ahead and set that real quick by holding BPM. And using knob B. So let's get the bass line first. So it starts on a low A, which, looking at my chart here, low A is value 24. So I'm going to go ahead and select the bass. I'm going to put it right here on the first step in write mode, and I'm going to hold it down and use knob A to scroll all the way down to 24. There we go. Then I can use knob B as my filter cutoff, I believe it is. Yeah. Cool. So the melody of the bass is dun 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 dun. So we want to go da da right here, and this is going to be a high A, which, looking at my chart, is, I got to scroll up here, looks like that is value 72. So let's go ahead and go to 72. There we go. And adjust that filter again. There we go. Da, da, da. This needs to be a G. So looking at that, I can see that's knob A value 60. Get that filter up. That seems a little flat, so let's actually bring it up to 61. There we go. So I'm actually going to adjust that on my chart real quick for you guys. We're going to say that 61 is G, not 60. There we go. You might have to do some fiddling, but I'm going to get you darn close, I promise. And then right here, this needs to be an E. So looking at that, that's number 47. Get that filter up. Cool. And this needs to be a G, which again was, we said 51, right? 61. This also needs to be 61. There we go, 61. The knobs are kind of fiddly, so you will have to play with it a little. And then this needs to be A, which is 72. There we go, let's listen. Yeah, that's the bass line. I'm noticing right now that the tempo is a little slow, so let's maybe bring it up to like 130. There we go. And I do know that this pattern, this melody I should say, is 2 patterns long. So let's go ahead and copy it to pattern 2 by holding right pattern and then pressing slot 2. Now we've got 2 patterns with this nice bass line. Let's go ahead now and get our melody. So we are going to switch to sound 10, which is this one. Cool. So the melody is da 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 da. I'm not a singer, so bear with me. Just go with it. So the first note needs to be an A, a low A. Whoops. Let's go ahead and select our sound. Right mode on. A low A, which I'm looking at my chart here. Low A is 30 on the lead sound. And on the lead sound, knob B is the release. There we go. So da, da, right here we'll go up an octave. So this needs to be the high A, which is sound, or knob A at 70. Come on. There we go. This is gonna be really funny. So then the next note's gonna go here. This is gonna be an E, which is 50. So what this says here. Cool. Let's extend the release. Let's listen. Sounds right. Now we got to go to pattern 2. Now the next note is going to be right here on 1 of pattern 2, and this is going to be a G. So to get to G, we need 62. Let's play these 2 together and listen. That sounds right. So that's G. The next one needs to be F, which I believe is going to be 54. So this needs to be 54. Extend the release. Yep. Now the next note goes right here. And this needs to be an E again, so that's 50. Extend that release. Cool. And then this needs to be a D. So to get to D, we're going to use 45, it looks like. Actually, it sounds like 44 might be more accurate. Yep, that sounds better. And I actually just realized that we're going to need 4 slots for this melody, so we're going to copy into slots 3 and 4. And then we're just going to go into right mode and erase what we just did in slots 3 and 4, so they're empty too. So let's listen to what we have right now. That sounds right. So now we're going to go to pattern 3. So now we need to go E, F, E, D, E. Just like that. Da, 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 da. So this one's going to be E, so this is 50. Extend the release. This is going to be F, so this is going to be 54. This is going to be E again, so 50. Extend the release. This is going to be D, so we are going to go to 44. And then this is going to be E, right here on this one, the last one. So that's 50. Let's listen. Yeah, that's it. So now we're just going to chain patterns 1, 2, 3, and 4, and this should be our melody. Here we go. Yeah, that's so cool. Cool, so let's get some percussion behind that actually. We're going to use this as our snare drum, so let's start with that, sound 16. We're going to put that on 2 and 4. Then we're going to just copy that into every pattern, do the same thing. Cool, now let's get some hi-hat. So we're actually going to use this sound kind of for a hi-hat. It's not really perfect, but let's listen. That actually works pretty well. So the pattern is just I'm just doing that on all 4 of our patterns. Now let's chain all 4 of them and listen. Here we go. Ghost in the Galaxy on the PO-24 Office. And there we go. Ghost in the Galaxy on the PO-24 Office. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you have a little better understanding now of what the PO-24 is capable of and how you can sequence some melodies. Again, I'm going to leave all of those note values in the description below, so be sure to check that out if you've got the Office or if you're thinking about getting it, because that's a pretty cool thing to be able to do, and it really turns this into quite the versatile little groove box. And again, there's not really any other pocket operators that can play every single note within one pattern right now. There's the speak, which you can transpose to different keys and scales, but you can't do that per each step in your pattern. You can only do it per pattern. I believe that's also how the PO-128 Mega Man works. I'm not entirely sure on that, but I do have one on the way. So when I do get my hands on that, we will be testing it out. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and leave a like on it. If not, you can leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.